Is there anything you can't stand about your partner? Share it with us in the comments below. And now, let's hear the story of Meryl Streep, one of Hollywood's greatest actresses, who was married for 45 years to Don Gummer, who suddenly announced her separation. What led to this decision? Was there a deeper reason hidden behind the family door? The truth has just been revealed, and it may change the way we look at the actress's personal life. Let's explore the mysteries behind this decision. Broken marriage. They maintained what appeared to be the most stable marriage in the entertainment world for 45 years while they were living together. On the other hand, after several decades, the couple decided to part ways in a manner that was discreet and did not make any commotion. It was a unique circumstance that brought Meryl Streep and Don Gummer together. Meryl went through a period of profound melancholy after finding out that her ex-boyfriend, John Cazale, had passed away unexpectedly. Don Gummer, an old acquaintance, made his appearance and became a vital spiritual support for her. He was the one who introduced himself. Their affection for one another developed naturally, and in 1978, after just 6 months of dating, the couple decided to be married. Even though Meryl was one of the most famous actors in Hollywood, Don was a skilled sculptor who decided to keep his work to himself. It was important to the couple that they led a secluded life, away from the commotion that was associated with the entertainment world. Even though they were under the observation of the public and the media, they were able to construct a house together and raise their 4 children in the most tranquil setting imaginable. Meryl Streep and Don Gummer appear to be an ideal exception to the rule that Hollywood is full of marriages that only last for a short period. They can strike the ideal balance between their family lives and their celebrity, in addition to providing each other with support in their respective jobs. An interview that Meryl gave previously revealed that the secret to a long-lasting marriage is to listen to one another and to give in. It is impossible to be correct all the time, and there are moments when quiet is the most effective way to communicate. Throughout their relationship, they have been able to keep it going because of the qualities of respect and understanding that they have. Meryl's life is also significantly impacted by Don Gummer in a significant way. The fact that he never feels overwhelmed by his wife's stardom does not prevent him from constantly supporting her in her pursuit of her passion for performing. In a highly unusual occurrence in the entertainment world, the pair has never been the subject of fabricated rumors or controversies involving their romantic relationship. There is evidence that Meryl Streep and Don Gummer's relationship has evolved throughout a considerable amount of time. Even though they always give the impression of being a happy couple, over so many years, they have only sometimes been seen together on public occasions. At the 2018 Academy Awards, which was also the occasion of their 40th wedding anniversary, they walked the red carpet together for the very final time. Following that, Don very nearly vanished from the events that were associated with Meryl. Additionally, there are speculations that the two had been living apart for a considerable amount of time throughout this period. Not only does Meryl spend most of her time in New York, but Don is primarily based out of his residence in Connecticut. According to this, it appears that they may have discreetly parted ways without making their decision public. It has been reported by reliable sources that Meryl Streep and Don Gummer had been living apart for a considerable amount of time before the publication of their formal separation announcement. On the other hand, this separation was not stressful or contentious. Rather, it was a decision that was made out of respect for each other. For the sake of their family and the priceless experiences they have shared, the two continue to keep up a healthy connection with one another. Meryl and Don have no intention of immediately filing for divorce officially since, in their opinion, the tranquility that they have in their daily lives is more important than having a paper titler. This is not a traumatic or startling split, according to a person who is close to the situation. They have spent their whole lives showing respect for one another, and this choice is only a step in the process of cultivating that regard. The news of Meryl Streep and Don Gummer's separation shocked Hollywood. The public has always admired their love story as a rare symbol of sustainability in the volatile entertainment industry. Many fans expressed their sadness that one of the most beloved couples had finally come to an end. However, life goes on. Meryl Streep is still busy with new film projects, while Don Gummer continues his sculpting career. Although they are no longer together, they will still be an important part of each other's lives. Meryl Streep and Don Gummer's separation was not a tragedy, but a peaceful transition in their lives. After 45 years together, they chose to part ways with respect and love, instead of being immersed in arguments or fights like many other famous couples. Although they are no longer husband and wife in name, Meryl and Don will always be companions, people who have gone through nearly half a century of ups and downs together. Perhaps it is this gentleness that makes them truly different in the glamorous but also scandalous world of Hollywood. But recently, fans seem to have discovered another interesting detail. What is it? Discovery of healing. Meryl Streep continued to wear her wedding ring for a considerable amount of time after her romance with Don Gummer came to an end, even though she chose to keep their connection a secret. As a result of this move, the public focused their attention on them, which led to the media and fans asking a lot of questions about their genuine position. Did the pair appear to be making progress? Or was it a matter of personal preference, a desire to show reverence for the past, or perhaps a means of ensuring the continuity of the family unit? There have been many hypotheses proposed, but the answer was not quite obvious at the time. Because Meryl Streep has always maintained a high level of discretion regarding her personal life, she refrained from issuing any formal remarks immediately after the news of her separation began to circulate. Throughout the year 2023, she continued to wear her wedding ring on her ring finger when she appeared at major events, which sparked a significant amount of suspicion. In October of 2023, Meryl was honored at the Princesa de Asturias Awards, which took place in Spain. This was one of the most exciting events of her life. The beautiful wedding ring that she was wearing on her finger instantly became the focal point of conversation in the photographs that were shot during the ceremony. The topic of whether or not she and Don Gummer had resumed their passion for one another was instantly posed by the media. It's also possible that they had never truly severed their connection. Others claimed that the ring was merely Meryl's way of paying honor to her more than 4 decades of relationship with Don. Some people believed that the ring may be a hint of a reunion, while others believed something else entirely. Meryl Streep's spokesperson finally revealed, in late 2023, that she and Don Gummer had been separated for a considerable amount of time, putting an end to the months of conjecture before the formal confirmation. Not only does this knowledge put a stop to speculations, but it also highlights an essential truth. Even though they are no longer legally married, they continue to have a connection that is polite and loving throughout their partnership. Some close sources believe that keeping the wedding band is not a sign of reconciliation, but rather a mark of commitment to the memories and sentiments that they formerly had. The marriage of Meryl and Don has lasted for 45 years, and they have shared innumerable joyful times. Together, they have 4 children. This ring is more than just a piece of jewelry. It is an integral part of Meryl's life, a memento of the experiences and adventures that they have had together throughout their lives. In addition, according to the findings of several professionals in the field of marital psychology, individuals who have been married for a considerable amount of time frequently struggle to entirely disengage from the behaviors that are connected with their marriage. Meryl's decision to remove the ring was not something that could be done all at once. Rather, it was a gradual transition that was in line with how she and Don opted to deal with their breakup. without any fuss or drama, but with mutual respect and understanding. It was the timing of the announcement that was one of the aspects of the separation that caused the greatest confusion. During the few weeks leading up to the confirmation of the news, Meryl and Don had already celebrated their 45th wedding anniversary. This has caused many people to ponder whether or not they are still together but have made the decision to live apart. It is possible that the choice to make public disclosure of their divorce so soon after the anniversary of their wedding was not a mere coincidence. Even though their romantic connection had come to an end, Meryl wanted to ensure that Don would continue to be acknowledged as a significant part of her life. As stated by those closely acquainted with the situation, there would be no animosity, no legal conflicts, and no noisy litigation, all of which are negative experiences that many other renowned couples have had to go through. Additionally, the choice was a reflection of how they have chosen to conduct their life over the years, which includes maintaining their privacy, avoiding the limelight of Hollywood, and prioritizing their family above all else. In the entertainment industry, divorces are sometimes followed by scandals, disagreements over property, or media conflicts. On the other hand, the situation with Meryl Streep and Don Gummer is very different. They decided to part ways peacefully, without harboring any animosity or hatred. Even though they were no longer married, they continued to have a close relationship and a profound regard for one another. It's not often that prominent couples can do something like this. It was many years ago when Meryl made the following statement in an interview: "Marriage is a continuous learning process. If both of them make an effort, they will be able to strike a balance between the two of them." Meryl and Don may have discovered a new equilibrium, even though they are no longer together in the conventional manner. This new equilibrium is a relationship that is no longer referred to as marriage, but it is still characterized by mutual respect and regard for one another. But that's not to say Meryl Streep isn't tactful. Just look at how she handles and supports her family. Meryl Streep's balance. The ability of Meryl Streep and Don Gummer to successfully maintain the delicate balance between Meryl's growing celebrity and their family life was one of the most interesting parts of their marriage throughout their time together. When Meryl, an actress whose career is sometimes considered to be among the most successful in Hollywood, was faced with the issue of reconciling the tremendous demands of celebrity with her responsibilities as a wife and mother, she found herself feeling overwhelmed. Even though she had a prosperous career that spanned decades and earned her 3 Academy Awards in addition to many other awards, she never failed to make it obvious that her family and her personal life were her top priorities. Meryl talked up about the difficulties she faces in sustaining a long-lasting relationship while still managing her high-profile work in an interview the magazine Vogue conducted in the year 2002. She made a witty remark that the key to a happy marriage was having goodwill toward one another, being willing to compromise, and being able to keep quiet with one another sometimes. She admitted that there was no definitive plan for her to follow when it came to raising a family, and she characterized the process as a massive discussion in which concessions were required. Meryl emphasized that to be content, she needed to have both her profession and her family maintain a healthy balance between her career and motherhood. She added, "I have a holistic need to work and to have huge ties of love in my life," indicating how she strove to attain a feeling of harmony between these two areas of her life. She was doing this to fulfill her holistic need to work. One of the most important aspects of Meryl's personal life was the bond that she shared with her 4 children: Henry, Mamie, Grace, and Louisa. Even though she confessed that becoming a mother was the most difficult element of her life, she never shied away from it. According to her, the process of parenting her children was more challenging than anything she had ever done in her acting career. Meryl stressed the benefits of parenting noting that although it did not come with the same external accolades and recognition as acting did, it was immeasurably more rewarding on a personal level. Despite this, Meryl underlined the joys of motherhood. On the other hand, it is quite probable that her marriage to Don was affected by the fact that she was so devoted to both her children and her career. Even though Don had a successful career as a sculptor, the public did not take notice of his work to the same extent as Meryl did. It is quite probable that the demands of her work, which frequently compelled her to travel and take on difficult parts, contributed to the strain that was placed on their relationship. During several interviews, Meryl detailed how she and Don needed to make concessions to pursue her profession while also tending to their family life. Despite the challenges, they were able to maintain their relationship for decades, and the key feature that stayed consistent throughout was their mutual dedication to both their children and one another. The complexity of their relationship, on the other hand, underlined a problem that many couples have when one partner's profession requires a significant amount of attention and time from the other. Their marriage appeared to be gradually falling apart over several years, and it appeared that the growing gap between their personal lives and their work lives was finally a contributing factor. Despite this, it was clear that they had a substantial amount of mutual regard and concern for one another, and the fact that they were able to overcome the challenges that came with fame and family demonstrated a profound resilience in their relationship. The pressure that Hollywood applying the marriage between Meryl and Don lasted for more than 4 decades, which is an impressive accomplishment in Hollywood, where partnerships sometimes fail to endure the test of time. They were able to negotiate the problems that came with being in the public spotlight, which included the highs and lows that Meryl experienced during her career. As Meryl's celebrity increased, the amount of strain that she was under also increased. She won several prizes, including 3 Academy Prizes, and was always the focus of the media, which culminated in her being a household name. On the other hand, Meryl was always determined to keep her private life exactly that, private, although she was one of the most famous actors in Hollywood. The public saw her and Don together only infrequently, and when they did, it was typically at public events where they chose to keep things low-key and avoid the media circus that frequently accompanies Hollywood couples. She and Don were rarely seen together by the public. It was obvious that they placed the utmost importance on protecting their privacy. Meryl, in particular, went to tremendous measures to shield her family life from the enormous attention that was being directed toward her by the media. When Meryl was awarded the Academy Award for Best Actress in 2012 for her performance in the film The Iron Lady, she delivered an acceptance speech that was both moving and touched with emotion. When Meryl had finished expressing her gratitude to her family and staff, she turned to Don and said, "First, I'm going to thank Don, because when you thank your husband at the end of the speech, they play him out with the music. And I want him to know that everything I value most in our lives, you've given me." Even under the blinding limelight of the Oscars, she was able to demonstrate her profound admiration for Don through an emotional tribute that she gave to him. Despite this, it became abundantly evident that even the most robust relationships may be put to the test as time went on. They began to experience difficulties in their marriage as a result of the demands that Meryl's job brought, including her continual exposure to the media and the difficulties of balancing her family life. The burden of attempting to maintain a balance between her private and public life became quite challenging. It was later verified that the split, which had been going on in the background for years, had taken place, which caused many people to question what had gone wrong. Were you influenced by the persistent pressure from the media, the requirements of a job in Hollywood, or possibly the natural drift that occurs over time? Do you have any thoughts? Is it possible that the strains of celebrity and continual exposure might put a strain on a relationship between two people? Or do you think that there were other elements at play in this situation? In the comments section below, please share your ideas with us. Ghosts of the past. The marriage of Meryl Streep and the sculptor Don Gummer, which lasted for more than 4 decades, is widely regarded as one of the most enduring love tales in the entertainment industry. The profound love that Meryl had for the actor John Cazale, whom she loved with all of her heart and had to part ways with when he passed away from lung cancer in 1978, leaves an indelible scar on her heart. Meryl will never forget the profound love that she had for John Cazale. Meryl's perspective on love, life, and grief was profoundly altered as a result of John's passing, which was not only a simple loss, but also had a significant influence on her. Although John Cazale was not a major Hollywood celebrity, he was a great actor who excelled in some films, including The Godfather, Dog Day Afternoon, and The Deer Hunter. He is remembered for his exceptional performances in these films. Not only was John Meryl's life partner, but he was also a source of instruction and a traveling companion for her creative endeavors. In the middle of the 1970s, they were both working on a play when they first met, and they rapidly became an inseparable relationship. In contrast to a transitory infatuation, their love was a profound connection between two people who shared similar values and beliefs. Following the news that John had been diagnosed with terminal lung cancer, Meryl did not leave his side for even a single second. She remained by his side till the very end, providing him with all of her love and devotion while she tenderly cared for him. The passing of John came as a sudden and devastating blow to her, not only because he was the guy she loved the most at that time, but also because he had a significant influence on both her life and her professional endeavors. Not only did Meryl learn how to act from John, but she also learnt how to look at life, how to love, and how to accept things that cannot be altered. Meryl gave this information in an interview at one point. Meryl did not have to wait more than a few months after John's passing before she was introduced to Don Gummer, a gifted sculptor who entered her life as a spiritual support at the most difficult period of her life. From the very beginning, Meryl and Don's love is not founded on impulsiveness or overwhelming emotion. Rather, it is constructed on mutual admiration, sharing, and understanding between the two of them. Don was able to provide Meryl with a life of tranquility, assisting her in the process of healing the scars in her heart and continuing to move ahead. However, even though Meryl and Don had a lovely marriage, had 4 children, and created a happy household, it is possible that the shadow of John never fully disappeared from her heart. The loss in question is not something that can be forgotten lightly, nor is it something that should be disregarded. Meryl's personality has been shaped by the memories she has of John, which has also played a role in the way she loves and values Don. Meryl seldom discussed Don Gummer in public throughout several interviews, but she did reveal her affection for John Cazale on numerous occasions at various times. When she spoke about him, she always did so with a mixture of regret and thankfulness, recalling the time they spent together as an essential component of her life. When Meryl mentioned John in an interview, it was one of the most heartwarming moments of her life. She said, "He was one of the most wonderful people I have ever known. I have never seen somebody who is like him, and I have never witnessed anyone who is passionate about their profession." The fact that Meryl remembers John does not imply that she never had a genuine affection for Don Gummer. Rather, it demonstrates that love is boundless and no boundaries can be placed on it. A person might experience profound love more than once in their lifetime, and each love has its unique significance. Meryl may have discovered happiness with Don. Nevertheless, this does not imply that her emotional attachment to John has diminished. It is possible that Meryl still holds the memory of John, not because she is unable to let go of the past, but rather because a genuine and profound love is something that never truly disappears. It eventually becomes ingrained in her personality, the choices she makes, and how she interacts with the people she cares about in her life. That being said, did Meryl's marriage to Don suffer as a result of her ongoing sadness over John? It is possible that the answer is not entirely apparent. Nonetheless, it is evident that her experience with John taught her how to love completely, how to treasure every minute spent with the person she loves, and how to continue living even after her heart has been shattered. Ultimately, Meryl Streep's story is a clear testament to the complexity of love and loss. It shows that love doesn't just last for a moment, but can last a lifetime, even when the person is no longer with us. And perhaps Don Gummer understands that too. He didn't replace John Cazale in Meryl's heart, but he was there to move on with her, to build a new life. What's next? The news of Meryl Streep and Don Gummer's separation is certainly a significant turning point in their lives, but it's important to note that their decision was made without any bitterness or animosity. Reason for breakup. Meryl Streep and Don Gummer have both made it quite obvious that even though their marriage has ended, they continue to have unwavering affection for one another. When compared to the tear-jerking and turbulent storylines that are prevalent in the entertainment business, their approach to the breakup is rather different. The decision was made to confront it with honesty, composure, and mutual regard for one another. The dissolution of their marriage, which had lasted for more than 45 years, was not the result of acrimonious disagreements or rumors spread by the media. Instead, it appears to have been a decision that was taken together with a profound comprehension of each other's specific requirements and the routes that they have chosen in their lives. Meryl and Don have made it clear in the few interviews in which they have discussed their marriage that they continue to care for, respect, and accompany one another in their unique ways, even though they are no longer married to each other. Meryl Streep is continuing to pursue her passion for performing even as she progresses into the next phase of her life, which is the next chapter. Recently, she has been making waves due to her performance in the critically acclaimed film Only Murders in the Building. Although she has spent decades working in the entertainment industry, Meryl's participation in this project is not only a demonstration of her mastery of storytelling, but also demonstrates that she has not given up. It is still widely acknowledged that Meryl is among the most admired and sought-after actresses in Hollywood. The characters that she chooses to play are constantly on the cutting edge of the industry and have a significant influence on the audience. Her enthusiasm for painting continues to be strong, despite the turbulence that has been occurring in her personal life. During the years to come, Meryl will undoubtedly be able to deliver a great deal more emotionally charged and meaningful performances for her admirers to enjoy. Don Gummer, on the other hand, has decided to pursue a less attractive career path. For as long as he can remember, he has maintained his privacy and concentrated on his creative profession. The sculptures that he has created have been displayed in several famous galleries and have garnered a great deal of appreciation from professionals. Don has never been one to seek happiness in the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, and following his divorce, he has shifted his focus to a life that is less stressful and less centered on the spotlight. Despite the end of their marriage, Meryl Streep and Don Gummer remained devoted parents, raising their 4 children in a loving and supportive family environment. Their 4 children, Henry Wolfe, Mamie Gummer, Grace Gummer, and Louisa Jacobson, have all gone on to have careers of their own and have inherited many of their parents' values. The role of the children. The family has always been Meryl and Don's top priority, even though both of them have fulfilling occupations. Although her job is extremely essential to her, Meryl has frequently highlighted that her family is the most stable foundation in her life overall. She and Don made an effort to preserve stability from the time her children were little, to provide them with a tranquil upbringing that was free from the distractions and pressures of the entertainment industry. Don Gummer provided a significant amount of care for the children, particularly during the times when Meryl was away on film sets for extended periods. As a caring father, he is always there to provide support and encouragement to his children whenever they are going through significant life transitions. In the meanwhile, Meryl makes it a point to schedule her time reasonably so that she does not miss any significant moments with her family. Artistic endeavors are pursued by each of their 4 children in their unique ways. The career of Henry Wolfe included both acting and music. Mamie Gummer is a celebrated actress who has appeared in a wide variety of roles in both cinema and television. Grace Gummer, who followed in her mother's footsteps, wowed with great performances in the acting profession. As a young actress, Louisa Jacobson is recognized for her major part in the television series The Gilded Age. She is a promising young actor. When it was reported that Meryl and Don were going their separate ways, many people were curious about how their children would respond to the decision. Having said that, given that they have been living apart since 2017, it is quite likely that the family will not be overly surprised by the official declaration of the divorce in the year 2023. Because all 4 children are now adults and have established their jobs, they can comprehend and appreciate the choices that their parents make. When they made public appearances, none of them indicated dissatisfaction or disagreement. On the contrary, they continued to demonstrate their familial connections. It is clear from this that the attachment that exists between their parents as a family has not altered, even though they are no longer married to each other. It would appear that the children's connection with both Meryl and Don has not been badly affected by the divorce. Even now, they continue to keep a tight relationship with both sides. It is not uncommon for the children to express their respect for their father, and they continue to show their support for Meryl and Don's professional endeavors. They also frequently accompany their mother to events. Even though Meryl and Don are no longer married, they continue to be the parents of 4 children and have a profound affection for their family. This demonstrates that even if a marriage may come to an end, the ties within a family, as well as the love and respect for children, do not alter. What do you think about their separation? Do you think Meryl's past with John Cazale influenced her